Good afternoon guys and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the first video for Dave in his new shoes. It's actually the first video here in the Golf Zone Simulator. So with the 2Vision system here, we're going to be using this a lot for Dave in coming months. We're going to talk awkward lies. We can do that on the golf course, but we're going to show you in here on different holes of what we can do, what Dave needs to do, what you need to do to be able to play those shots. But today Dave's got his, I'll say his favourite club, but it's the club that he hates, to be honest, because
I've been trying to get rid of it for years, Chris.
We haven't got him a new driver yet, and the main thing we want to do is, you'll have seen from all the driver testing, we have seen which one's the best. The TSR1 is the best driver for Dave. He's getting good numbers out of that, but we've still got a problem with Dave hitting the ball left. He is the man of the left side of the golf course.
It really can't be the club, can it?
And it can't be the club, unfortunately. It is Dave and his technique. And that's what we want to go through today. And if you are thinking about buying a new driver, if you are having lessons, it's very important to think, if you go for a fitting for a driver that's set up to your swing before you have lessons, it might not be the right driver. Yes, you can tweak, obviously, the weights on a lot of these drivers, but it might not be the right shaft. You might gain 5 miles an hour from having lessons. If you gain that 5 miles an hour, that might take you from a regular to a stiff. So we're going to hit some shots here with Dave. We're going to start to see a pattern of what he does. This simulator does film the face-ons. I'm going to film those as well on my phone, so we've got some comparisons, talk through what Dave needs to work on and how we can get rid of the left side of the golf course. So, Dave,
before you start, Chris, before you go, part of my big miss left, is the fact I hit it off the toe. The only mark on top of this club is right there on the toe.
Yep.
And I don't know what I do to do that.
Yeah, so a lot of shots off the toe, a lot of shots obviously quite high on the face, so that's something that we need to look at for Dave. That is something that we're going to go through, and it's very obvious, but it's not always easy to fix. No. And a lot of things with driver, it's the hardest club to hit because it's the longest club, but there's these things that you need to do, but it's a lot of practice. And we need to see people at the driving range. That is Dave. We need to see at the driving range. So Dave, take us away. Got the Auto Tee system, so Dave doesn't even need to fatigue himself by putting the ball on the tee.
That means I don't have to try and get that tee in the mat again.
That's true, because it normally is an issue.
It is an issue.
So, here we go. So, up the middle. Good strike on there.
Yeah.
And we see Dave's motion right there in front of you, and that's what we're going to have a quick look at now. So the first shot up there, we have got, oh, it's ready for you, Dave, but we're going to have a look at Dave's swing. So on the simulator, we can go view my swing, we can slow that right down, and we can see Dave's motion right there. So we want to go through this now.
I really stand up.
And what we're working on, yes, look at Dave standing up in his finish. So let's have a quick look. Right, so as we look through Dave's videos here, obviously, as we come through Dave's motion, we take away, we know with Dave we've got a lot of movement off the ball. So here we can see that Dave's left knee stays very strong. It doesn't come inwards, which is a good thing. We've got a big turn there, but one thing is we can see that Dave's shoulders there, he's lifted up out of his posture, and his posture that is obviously affecting him get a strike. Once we come down into his downswing, you can see there the big move straight away is to get onto that left side. And if I take this through, we can still see that left arm wants to come off. And look how tall he is there. So look how he's very up. He's even gone out of the picture. He's that tall. And that's what we need to discuss of how we're going to get Dave hitting it out of the centre is maintaining those angles a little bit better. So what we see from the videos there is when Dave takes the club away, we start to get this shoulder working up a little bit. From here, he's already out of his angles. We know that he's shifted off the ball a little bit, but it's his down into impact. The reason why he's hitting it off the toe is because, again, we're standing up into impact. So we're going to get toe strikes. We're potentially going to be sending that club down.
So on the way back,
I
kind of go up. Then just at the start of the downswing, I guess I just dip a little bit. And then as I get to the ball, I stand up again.
So he's up and down.
How could I manage that in like 0.3 of a second?
All over the place. So that's what Dave does. So we start to see he's out of his angles, we try and regain him, and then because in impact we're trying to generate a lot of speed, and this is what happens for a lot of people. By the time they get into impact, we're in this kind of position. Is that a strong position? Comment below. Would you want to see yourself in that kind of position, or would you like to see yourself getting down into that kind of position that we see a lot of the tour players?
I'll have that one, please.
Still keeping my angles. From there, we are actually getting the club obviously in the centre because that club is not working vertical with the shaft. So we've got to get Dave a way of doing that, and obviously some drills to help him get into that position. What we can do for Dave is get the club across his shoulders. In his posture, we can get him working where we feel like that left shoulder is working down towards his right knee. So he's not moving off the ball and getting flat. He's turning and coiling into that right side, and then from here he wants to feel like he's keeping those angles and then getting the driver into that kind of position. And yes, it's not always the case for everyone we're not all as flexible as each other, but the more we can maintain the angles, the more for Dave we can find the middle of the face, and a lot of it is down to tempo. Yes? Okay. So how many people swing 10 out of 10? Do you get your driver, try and hit it as hard as possible, we lose our angles much quicker.
Yes.
So we know from Dave, if Dave presses play on the screen, we will see that he's not quite in balance. We can see he's really fighting with his stance here. He hasn't got a solid left foot. It's all very much fighting to keep his balance because he knows for the last 3 years I've told him to keep his balance. So we need to feel like Dave's swinging a bit smoother, giving himself a little bit more time to keep those angles so he can feel like his backswing's a little bit smoother, and we emphasise these angles, and then from there on the way through he can do exactly the same if he's not trying to wallop the ball, which is a technical Yorkshire term.
So you don't hit the driver 100%?
No, we're trying to swing 8 out of 10, and that's the same with all clubs. We want to start to see that we're hitting it 8 out of 10, which is in balance, which gives us the time to square the club face up. If you're swinging full out 10 out of 10, that club face one time could return wide open, the next time it could be closed, and that is going to be seeing us hitting it all over. We know for Dave, he likes to hit it left. And this is a perfect...
I don't like to, this is what happens.
And this is a prime example of Dave's finish on a golf course. His foot has now moved. So are you somebody who hits your drive shot and you finish facing the target? Have you ever seen a tour professional finish facing this way to their golf ball? Comment below if you have, because I'd love to see it. So Dave's going to come in here now, make some slow motions with the club across his shoulders and start to work on getting into those angles.
Like that?
The other way around, so switch the club, that's it. And when we do this for Dave, he's got it across his shoulders, we want to get the club face parallel to the ground. So up there, and then Dave's into his golf posture, so into his driver setup. He's then going to turn and rotate back. And we can see there, look how he's created that angle in the shoulder plane. And then if he now turns through slowly, there you go, Dave. Where's that club face pointing? Square?
Yes, Chris.
Magically, it is pointing
It's a revelation.
Square. It is. So, if we take this video back to Dave's setup, if I can do that, if we look at Dave's posture here, we can see that there's not much angle back in his upper body. So, one way to make it easier for Dave to get, obviously, that shoulder working down, is Dave's going to get into his normal setup, but feel like he bumps that hip towards the target. So, you'll see he's going to create a better angle here, to then be able to load onto that right hand side by just bringing that left shoulder down. So set up again, Dave, as in you was over the ball. We're going to bump that left hip towards the target. Good, let's get this club face up. So if you're practicing this at home or on the driving range, get that club face there so you get some feedback. So let's go, that's it, that's good. And then he's going to turn.
So do I try and keep that hip where it is?
Hip stays where it is, so it turns with the body, that's good. That's a good, better position, and slowly through. Perfect. Right, and now we're going to get Dave to hit a shot from there. Auto tee for Dave. So Dave's going to do this now in slow motion, so only 50%. He might just chip this down there, but the focus is that good setup now. So hip across, angle the body away a little bit more, and then from there Dave's going to now get in a good position to the top. Good. Strike-wise, Dave?
Felt better.
felt better, so a little bit more centred. So straight away at setup, we can see Dave is more angled away from that target. So he's already presetting that angle back to help him hit more up, get the club out to the right and get a centred strike. As we come through, as I play this video, we see it doesn't move off the ball as much. It's much more centred because he's already there. And then as he comes down, we can see that right shoulder is a lot lower until the finish. So that's big differences there for Dave straight away. This is a move that is going to take a while to get used to because it's a big change, obviously, trying this. But before choosing a driver, it's essential for Dave to be able to get into these positions.
Because you know I don't like spending money.
Because Dave hates spending money, so he needs to make sure that he's getting it out of the centre before he invests £500 or £600. So guys, you want to be doing this drill if you're somebody who you feel like you're really standing up out of your posture. If you think if you're going up to down to out again, it's going to be very hard to hit the centre of the face. Dave is consistent at hitting the toe. If we can keep these angles, he's going to be consistent hitting the middle of the face. So Dave's going to keep practicing this. So I'm going to leave Dave to it, but we will see you again later in the week.
See you soon.